What's up, Mortgage Coach community? I am super pumped because I am getting ready to not interview, but have a conversation with Hunter Marckwardt. What's up, Hunter?
Dave, how are you, brother? Great to see you.
Great to see
Happy
you,
soon
man.
to be Thanksgiving.
I know we are just days away from, I don't know, I think Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because for days before Thanksgiving, I just think about all the things I'm grateful for. And then I get to see my kids and my family. And I don't know, I love this holiday. How do you feel about it?
It's literally I think it is my favorite. I was going to say Christmas might be my favorite, but I think Thanksgiving is my favorite. I like to think of it with just what you said with finding the things you're grateful for. It's also just a day for me to have an excuse to do very little and to just chill with the family and watch football and eat and drink and just celebrate family. So I'm fired up for it.
Yeah, I
Especially
forgot all
this
about
year,
that.
by the way.
Oh my God, right? Although
Yeah.
this year is different. Like it's not a, I don't know how your family is celebrating it, but it's gonna, we call it the core four, my two kids and my wife in one house, my brother and his family in another house, my mom and stepdad down in Ashland in another house. We're gonna do a little Zoom meetup at some point in the day, but it's not a big table this year for us.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all we're getting together, but separating kind of outside a little bit, which is one of the benefits of California. It'll still be cold, but we're still going to try to see each other.
Yeah, well, good for you. And if we were closer together and we didn't have some high risk relatives in the mix, we would be doing the same thing. So,
Yeah.
anyways, dude, I want to interview you for a couple reasons. One, I am loving your Sunday leadership notes every Sunday. Well, you don't say that every Sunday, but it seems like almost every Sunday
Just about.
you're bringing good leadership. And anybody who's watching this, you're like, what are we talking about? I'm going to put a link down below to an interview I did with Hunter where we just talked about his Sunday leadership notes. But I think you've become a very special leader and mentor to me through that email. So I want to always amplify your leadership in the community.
That's an honor.
How are
Thanks,
you?
Dave.
Yeah, no, dude, you are. I mean, it really is great writing, great leadership. And then you've become a big leader in the mortgage coach community. I know every time I tell you that, you're kind of like, we're not using it enough, or I don't use it enough. But dude, you are a grandmaster. Maybe you haven't created 1,000 TCAs, but your team has created over 1,400 mortgage coach TCAs. So, dude, you're a big leader in the mortgage coach
Yeah, and
community.
I like what you and I talked about earlier because I mean, obviously, people watching you and I would like to think of us as authentic, truthful people. And I get on these calls with Dave sometimes, and I'm like, God, the way that my team operates is that I am, I'm responsible for getting our business partners to use us, and then I'm responsible for the initial consultation, really trying to convert our lead opportunities to use our team with the expectations of after my conversation with the way that we handle everything, it will be done in a manner that is so professional and good and personal that they will want to use us when they actually go to buy the house. And you did surprise me a little bit with the fact that we have 1,400. We've utilized you 1,400 times, and it's just like that's super cool. So the team, the way that I look at it with you, and I always want to continue to develop and grow, and it drives me nuts when I don't know how to do every single thing. But at the end of the day, you're our platform for providing, clear professional content for our clients, and it's huge, and it's all that we use, by the way. So.
Well, I appreciate it. I always appreciate your authenticity. And my goal, like we killed it at Mortgage Coach this year. The virtual economy attracted a lot of mortgage professionals to say, you know what, I need Mortgage Coach because I need to put numbers in a platform. I need to be able to stream video on it. But also it's integrations that make it faster and easier. So it's been a good year for us. And now 2021 is like a year where we just want to blast off. I mean, we've kind of got all these mega teams and mega producers using our product. It's like, how do we go even faster?
And
So,
I mean, COVID, at the end of the day, COVID is obviously a terrible thing, but I mean, I talked to some people about this. There's kind of the haves and the have-nots of COVID, and I don't mean that to sound as probably as bad as it means, but it's true, or as bad as it sounds. But I mean, you're really on the positive end of COVID from just a usage standpoint, I would think, right?
Absolutely. Our usage has skyrocketed, and the number of people that are adopting and use it has, significantly.
Have you seen, by the way, I'm just curious, have you seen both? Can you measure existing? I'm sure you can, right? I mean, like if you look at me in 2019 versus 2020, or really 2000, March of 2020, can you measure how much more individual current clients used you instead of just the people that have signed up recently? Can you see the usage patterns for existing clients just go through the roof?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's doubled. I mean, Jeremy, is a great example
Yeah.
where he was always doing over 60, 70 TCAs. He's doing over 100. He's done over 100 TCAs over the past 30 days. So yeah, you've seen a drastic, but some of that's just volume.
Sure.
Everybody is having more conversations, but some of that is like an in-person visit. I would always have to like, hey, mortgage coach is even valuable in an in-person meeting. And I would use the story and the strategy of Jay Crowell, who's a top producer out of Seattle, and look at how Jay does it. And he pulls out his iPad and the family downloads it. But guys, in-person meetings have either gone away or they've just radically reduced. And so I think a lot of our, call it more mortgage coach reports, we are the next best thing to an in-person meeting now, and you can't do in-person meetings. Right. So I think that's been a big deal.
Super cool.
So just describe really quick, and I want to get into your planning, like, what's Hunter doing and what's Hunter and team doing in 2021, but just so folks know, how you and your team work, just give us a high-level description real quick.
Well, there's myself, my team captain, Erica. I've 3 what are called LP2s, kind of a core, I'm a coach for the core. So there's that structure. And then in LP1, that's my pure administrative assistant. So the idea is, I had a kind of a come to Jesus meeting a few years ago where it was like my lead conversions were down, and one of my buddies that I coach with just said, I don't know why you don't put your best foot forward out of the gates on the lead conversion, and the best foot forward is me. So the way that we're set up then is I'm really responsible for bringing on and maintaining our business partner relationships, and whenever I can, which is literally probably 75% of the time at least, to have the initial call with the lead opportunities. Gives me the opportunity. I send out, Dave, I'm happy to give them to you. I send out these LP2 notes. It's kind of an interesting thing. These LP2 notes are basically, I'm trying to track the data that I have to give to my team members is, basically when I talk to this person is, who are they referred by? How are they referred? Are they shopping our business partner? So I'm trying to get, obviously I'm not just asking them, are they shopping my business partner, but I'm trying to identify what type of a relationship I have with them, what type of a relationship the business partner has with them. Are they first-time home buyer? What's their range in purchase price? What's their personality type? What are their motives for buying? Is it urgent? Do we have any concerns on them? So just trying to give this thing started off a few years ago where it was giving my team a very detailed understanding of when they actually see the file, what can they do? I think one of the biggest issues that people have with teams is that it's like calling into AT&T. You talk to one person, you just defined your whole life. You talk to someone else, they're asking you questions that are, you just told this other person, and it's super frustrating. So we try to minimize that. So by the way, those LP2 notes, just for the record, I started sending those out to my business partners after my call. And they think it's the greatest thing on earth. So if anybody ever wants to see these,
are you going to share that? Are you going to forward?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm happy to share it with you.
So guys, if you're watching this in YouTube, there'll be a little notes area down below, and we'll put a link to a sample of one of those for you guys. And we'll put a link to one of Hunter's total cost analysis. So you can see both how he's internally taking notes, handing it off, and what a finished total cost analysis looks like. You'll get that down below. Just check it out.
Perfect.
Keep
So,
going,
and
bro.
just so you know, like, just a little further on that, like the idea is, one, it helps the business partner because they understand. They also understand what kind of conversations I'm having with clients. So it makes them, you know, the glue is there because they know the level of detail. Do I need to endorse them more? Those types of things. Also, again, like I said, it helps out the LP2 so that they understand what's going on. And most importantly for all of us, it helps you remember conversations that you had 2 and 3 months ago. We always think we're going to remember something that we just had. And then we, you know, 2 months go by or a month, or I mean, for me, a week go by and all of a sudden you forgot everything. So bottom line is that initial conversation, which usually requires about 30 minutes of my time, I'm going through these notes and making sure that I have the same type of conversation every time. I'm then talking to the client, basically says, hey, Dave, you know, I've enjoyed this conversation. If you've enjoyed the conversation as well, the next step would be to get a loan application going. I get them a link to our application. My team and I, once they get all the documents over to us, we get them pre-approved based on the conversation that we had. And then it's either myself or my business partner / team captain, Erica. And that's when the total cost analysis come into play to have a much more detailed understanding of cash to close, what payments look like, what different scenarios look like. And then when we're off the phone with them, or in Zoom, depending on what the, you know, obviously we prefer they be in person, but if we're right now, if it's a Zoom call, whatever, the follow-up is to either send them the total cost analysis or review it with them. And then we just stay in contact with them as much as we can in between the pre-approval process and the close, just to make sure, you know, one of the things that you talk about, like 2021, is one of our biggest things that we recognized was the different closing ratios. And you try to measure your lead to app, your app to pre-approval, your pre-approval to close, and then the whole thing from you know, start to finish. So I mean, we realized last year, and we've improved on it in 2020 a lot, that we were losing a lot of people between pre-approval and close just because we weren't staying in contact with them enough. So anyway, I kind of got off topic, but I talked to him
That's not off
first.
topic.
Okay, so I talked to him first. They get all the documentation over to us. They still don't, outside of me just educating a little bit on our team, one of our 3 LP2s, they get one of the leads every single time. So it just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They help us with the pre-approval, getting it structured. Eric or myself then have the follow-up pre-approval communication with the person to go through total cash to close and payments based on those LP2 notes, literally trying to tie in the details of what they're trying to accomplish personally and financially. Then they go into contract, and then we engage the LP2s again to help us get us from contract to close. So hopefully that helps.
It really helps. And guys, I've got a whole library of how different top producers use Mortgage Coach and how they optimize their model, their mortgage practice. And I just interviewed Brian Smith, who your process is a lot like his, because you know he's running a region,
Yeah.
he's running a coaching organization. His team captain is the one presenting the Mortgage Coach options. You know, he's got LP1s that are doing the data capture. So that is something you're doing where you are having more of that front time. But guys, you know, when I interviewed Jeremy Forcier, you know, he's the one creating the TCA. Everybody's got a different way of doing it, but you know, they're making sure that these steps happen in a really special way. Just so everybody knows, what kind of volume are you and your team doing this year, 2020?
I mean, this year's literally today, we just hit 250 million. So 300, yeah, I think 385 loans right now for 250 million.
Wow. Well, so
Yeah.
first of all, congratulations, brother.
Thanks.
You know, that is an incredible accomplishment of hard work and love. Maybe well, let's transition a little bit to what is your goal for 2021, or have you decided what your goal for 2021 is yet?
Yeah, the goal for 2021 is 250 million, period. We're gonna leave it at that. I certainly, it's also, that's the stretch, Dave. The real, like, I would be disappointed if we didn't hit 200. and the stretch is 250. So we need to bring on 3 new team members to make that happen. The team that I love my team. I think I've got the greatest team in the world, but nobody, including me, is going to have a good life. Trying to close the amount of volume that we're doing right now so we literally have 3 people in the queue to be hired. They've accepted the position. So that's the next step for, you talk about 2021. It's being able to grow and also there's a balance. I sent out some notes on Q, basically breaking down, who knows how accurate this will be with MBA projections, but just breaking down what's going to happen over 2021 predictions as it relates to the purchase side of the business compared to the refinance side of the business. And I think the numbers on the purchase side of the business are supposed to be up like 8.5%, 9%. The refi side of the business is going to be down between 40 and 45%. But Q1 is super exciting. Q2 things start to die off, more so. So we got to be prepared to deal with it all.
Yeah, no doubt. And I had Jeremy Forcier and Dan Keller on the Mortgage Coach Friday Mastermind, and we pretty much did a business planning workshop, and they just kind of went through their business planning process, which is probably similar to yours. And Jeremy was the same thing. It's like, I want to do the same as I did last year, and I'm staffing and building team to do it. So I think that makes a lot of sense. What about, when it comes to using Mortgage Coach, and you mentor a lot of loan officers. I mean, you're a core coach. When a loan officer comes to you and they say, you know what, I want to upgrade my perfect loan process, because Mortgage Coach is a tactic within a bigger goal. What advice do you give them as a coach? Like, how do you tell them to go about, and I'm going to use Mortgage Coach as an example, but it could be some other tech, or it could be some other consistent process or habit. But what advice do you give as a coach?
Well, is it relates to, Mortgage Coach specific, Dave, or no?
Well, why don't we do Mortgage Coach specific, but if there are some things that would apply to any other technology, we'll just call those out. But okay. Yeah, what would it be for Mortgage Coach specific?
You have to have a process, you have to have a professional process, and you have to, I talk about it all the time. Like, what are you doing to uncommoditize yourself? And to me, Mortgage Coach, it's crazy to me that more people, I know you would want more and more people to use Mortgage Coach, but I'm surprised just how many people don't use it, right? Like, I send it to clients and they've never seen anything like it. And it's just, it's strange to me. So when you're uncommoditizing yourself, you're providing better content for people to help. It also makes you have more clarity on the numbers that you're talking about specifically, because if you can't walk someone through Mortgage Coach, like, you have your own set of issues. So to me, it's both. It holds the loan officer accountable. It creates a consistent strategy. It leaves a positive impression because of the content that you're leaving for the client. And it also gives you something to go back to. I think people get scared sometimes to use Mortgage Coach or even other technologies because it's putting a moment in time out there for them to compare rates compared to someone else. For me, it's almost like it's an accountability tool to hold both the potential client and the loan officer accountable to go back to a situation in time and acknowledge that's where it was, as opposed to, you get in these emotional arguments off of, you told me it was going to be this rate, you told me it was going to be that. When you go through a total cost analysis, you're able to see clearly what you promised someone. If it's off because of market timing, so be it. But if it's not, you always have a reference point to go back to.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So I have been super passionate for a long time of modernizing, the mortgage experience. And Mortgage Coach is one element of modernizing that. I did an event with Todd Bookspan a few months ago, which you were part of, the Modern Mortgage Summit. And by the way, your presentations were awesome. We're going to do that event again next year, and hope that you're willing to create more videos and be a speaker.
You guys were happy with the outcome overall?
Oh, dude, it was incredible. We had, 10x the attendance we wanted to have. the surveys and the reviews that came back. We had hundreds of reviews, and our net promoter score is 9.2. I've never even seen, a small test size I've seen in the nines, but a 9.2 net promoter score. So yeah, we were really happy with the event.
I don't know what, you got to tell me what a net promoter score is.
So it's a really common survey question that you ask someone, would you refer me? Would you refer my service? Would you refer this to other people? And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is absolutely, 0 is no way, and then people vote. And a pretty average net promoter score is in the 7s. A lot of big companies, do it.
Okay.
It's called net promoter score. So, clearly most people voted, extremely likely to refer the event. So net promoter score of a 10. Guys, Google it. I'm sure Hunter's not the only one that doesn't know what that is. So
I have a tendency to ask
and
stupid questions, but I found that most people have the same question. So
yeah, it would have been like, if we were doing it on a scale of 5.0, it would have been a 9.9 in some fractions, or 4.9 if it was a 5-star review.
Cool.
So what are some of the, one of the things that I've seen everybody's kind of got up to speed on is that when I take an app, I send a link. Modern way to do business. What are some of the other things? You're a coach, you are head of production at the company that you serve. What are some of the other things that you're trying to modernize your sales force around in 2021? What are some of the skills, habits, things that they need to do that they're not doing?
Well, to me, it's the balance of, I think the key for my team and I, what I try to coach on and always talk about, I even wrote about it on Sundays, is, where is the balance between being transactional, right, and being relational? And I think it's something that we're talking about in the core right now, just the mindset of, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I like the way that it sounds, is that transactional is what can I get, relational is what can I give. And I think with everything that's happening right now, is the technology makes you transactional and it makes you efficient, but it also dehumanizes the process. So for me, it's a balance of, how do you utilize the technology? How do you utilize the staying in touch without losing the authenticity of being relational with people? And it's not easy, and I haven't figured it out entirely, Dave, but from a technology perspective, it does have to do with, some of the things that I'm doing with a friend of mine who's started a company on his own too. It's consistency. Going back to the conversion ratios, how do you stay in contact with people once you've gone through the process of getting them pre-approved and having them both being authentic with the communication and also have them believe that the communication that's coming to them is from you? So those are automated texts that literally, I know they're going out because I get an update on them daily, but they sound like they're me. People respond to them like they're me. Some of the stuff's basic, but just an email string, a farm of, if someone's been pre-approved for 6 months, 30 days into it, it's touching base. Hey, Dave, wanted to just check, see how everything's going on the house hunting. 2 months later, hey, Dave, hope everything's going well. Let me know if you want us to update any information for potential offers. Maybe 90 to 120 days, it's going out saying, hey, Dave, we haven't talked to you in 4 or 5 months. Don't want to stalk you, but if you're still interested in buying, please let us know. And those are coming through a combination of emails and texts and phone calls. But anytime the phone call has to happen, it's on me to actually do that. Where from a technology perspective, on the pushes with the texts and the emails, those are automatically going to happen. We have seen that already, Dave, have a huge difference in our conversion ratios just by staying in contact with people throughout. And I think so many people that listen, everyone says they do this stuff, including me in the past. You say I stay in contact with clients, you say all this stuff, but you don't. And the only follow-up mechanism is just some kind of spammy feeling thing. As soon as I know that I'm on someone's autopilot, I stop looking at it. If I don't think that I'm on someone's autopilot, I'm going to continue to look at it. So long-winded way of me saying, for me, it's about how you can stay as authentically in communication as possible with an individual client and not spam them along the way. So I don't know if that helps.
It does. And I want to, let's wrap this up within 5 minutes, but I want to close out just focusing on that because Jeremy brought that up in Friday's call. He talked about being more relational versus transactional.
Yeah.
You said it just now. I read your Sunday thoughts and where you talked about it. And what came to my mind when you said it, when I thought about it, it's about going beyond the transaction. Like, let's face it, there are things we have to do a mortgage transaction. Some of them we have to do to be compliant. Some of them we have to do to, so the person qualifies. Some of them we have to do so we can close the loan on time and deliver, keep our promises at scale. But I think anytime you go beyond what you have to do, you're going beyond the transaction and you're giving relationships. And I love that you said it. It's not about what can I get, because transactional is just like, I want to get your loan and I just want to do enough to do
Right.
it. And it's like, what can I give? Like, can I turn my sales and my marketing into a service to the client where
Yeah.
they say, thank you. That's what I hear you doing. I mean, that is, at the essence, is it, it's not easy to
Totally.
do,
And it's,
but it's that simple. It's that simple.
And it's also just how you're making people feel. I mean, like I found myself over the weekend, I was sending a couple emails from clients, and I was thinking about it because I just written about it. I'm like, I'm just going to, it takes me the same amount of time to send this email, or it takes the exact same amount of time to send a thank you note or to leave a voicemail for someone. It's like, I would just end it with, like, if it was Dave, just want to let you know, we really appreciate the opportunity to work with you. If I don't speak with you, have an amazing Thanksgiving with your family, as opposed to just saying, thanks, Hunter, and it's like those little details. I'm just telling people, like, they all add up. I mean, making people feel like they're in a relationship with you as opposed to just a number is super important. So yeah, I mean,
Well, I think it's everything in 2021 and beyond. And anybody who's listening to this, guys, there will be price compression again. There will be a shift in the market. The question is, when is that shift? How violent is that shift? And how soon is that shift? And I think it's safe to assume there will be a market shift by 2022. I don't think it's a game. I mean, like, we're going to have a different market in 2021. It may be a shift market in the second half.
Still going to be
not,
good.
but yeah, it's going to be a good year. Like, I mean, maybe it won't. Maybe there'll be some meteor hit or Yellowstone will go off, but it looks like we're trending, barring any more COVID level catastrophes in humanity. We're looking like a good year in the market. But here's the deal, guys. This is the time to put in the systems, put in the processes, to build relationships that will last a lifetime. And the only thing I would add to what Hunter just said is, text is clearly part of that. Mortgage coach is clearly part of that. I mean, that is a service beyond a customer's expectations, where you showed them that, hey, I listened to your goals and I actually showed you more than a quote. I showed you some options that achieve your goals. And I think video is part of that. I think, every chance we could put a video on a message and we can mention their goals, mention their name, we're really showing that we care beyond a normal experience. You agree with that?
Yeah, one thing I have to throw out there, I just taught a class with my buddy Josh Sigmund, and he said one of the things that he's been doing, which I have not been doing, is, and Dave, you've done it with me, is video text. He said it's like 100% conversion, 100% watch ratio when you send a video text to someone. So I thought that was, I mean, how simple is it for me to be able to make a quick text, quick video? Dave, just wanted to say congratulations. I'm so fired up for you getting the contract. Can't wait to work with you on this. I mean, that's such a game-changing activity, and they're going to watch it. And so, yeah, I think video is huge. It's something I need to absolutely do more of.
Well, guys, here I'm just going to close out with my take on the ultimate, call it beyond the transactional, relationship-based, perfect loan experience, where you do what Hunter does. Someone on your team connects with the client, ask more than transactional questions so you know what their bigger goals are, and you know what's most important to them. And then guys, give them a total cost analysis. But before you do that, like text video. Like when I interviewed Josh Metal, he puts a video text on all of his, talk to the client. He puts a link to take the app, puts a 30-second to 45-second video text on it. Hunter, I'll forward you the one Josh does.
Yeah.
Or at least it's a sample of one of them. So now you've connected with them, you video, you gave them a link, make it easy to do an app. And then when you give them their advice, you give them a link to make it easy to do that, put a video on that, and then do those other things that he talked about, that Hunter talked about, like making sure that you're staying in touch at scale. You got to do more than keep promises at scale. You got to deliver service at scale via text and video. So, dude, I always appreciate you making time to come in and lead and bring your voice, bring your words into the mortgage coach community. Anything you want to close out on, brother, or anything you want to, did I miss something from that? Call it that perfect.
No, I'm just going to say this, and obviously you asked me to be on here, and I would just say, going into Thanksgiving, I appreciate you too, Dave. I'm sure everybody watching this, your energy, you're just always up. You're always positive. You never stop. So I got to give you props. I'm very appreciative of you. I'm grateful that we're spending more time together than we have in the past. And everybody watching, just a lot to be grateful for and thankful for in this crazy time. And I think we all just need to continue to pay it forward in every way we can.
Well, now I have to get this published. We are recording this on Tuesday. Thanksgiving is Thursday. We are going to push this live in the Mortgage Coach channel by tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving from Hunter and I. We hope you have an amazing holiday. I'm looking forward to seeing your Sunday notes, not to put any pressure on you for these Thanksgiving Sunday notes, but it's a pretty big Sunday coming up here. So thanks, Hunter, dude.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Hey, if you got value from this, give it a like, whatever channel you're watching it in. If you're a manager, I think this is something to share with some folks on your team and maybe even have a meeting around. Take care, everybody. And thank you, Hunter, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.